Hey, everybody, welcome to Dangerous Ideas. I'm Lee Camp. Thanks for being here. You might notice this is not a live stream. I taped it a few minutes ago before now, which is as confusing for me as it is for you. But the reason for that is because I was going to do a live stream as I do every Monday, but then I got an email from Xfinity, which now I don't want to be with Xfinity, but they're the only provider in my area, which sounds like they're a fucking messiah or something. They're the provider. Anyway, they're the only provider in my area, so I gotta have them. But so they emailed and they said, we're working on the internet today and just a whole day, no time window, just all of the day. We'll be working on the internet and it might come and go. Who knows how it works? We have no idea. So they gave no window, they gave no nothing, internet coming and going. And so I figured rather than give you a live stream that's suddenly cutting off halfway through it, I'm doing two things. One is I'm bringing you this special segment, which I hope you're already enjoying. We're about to get to Joe Biden and the truth behind the bribery scandal that has been rocking the airwaves, if you mean right-wing airwaves, and the liberal airwaves pretend it doesn't exist. So those are the two sides, and I'm going to tell you why it's somewhere in the middle. But I'm going to get to that in 1 second. So I'm not live today, but also I will bring you on normally my day off, Wednesdays, right? I normally do Monday, Tuesdays, Thursday, Friday. On Wednesday, however, I will bring you a live stream with Cornel West, presidential candidate Cornel West. So I will be speaking to him Wednesday on normally the day that I don't live stream, which I'm just doing that to confuse you as much as possible, because I want, considering the way our world is working right now, I want you to be as confused as I am, as really everyone is. And so that's what I'm trying to do. Anyway, that all being said, I hope you appreciate this segment, even though it's not live, because some Xfinity repair guy is up there just all day long. Just, I don't know what, they're just fisting my internet connection or whatever they do up there is happening right now. So let's get into it. All right. So this is one of these stories that is like, it's like 24/7, Fox News and everything. And then it's like 0 for 7 on CNN. It's like polar opposites. And I know it'll shock you that the truth is likely somewhere in the middle, although maybe a little more towards the right wing outlets. But I wanted to talk about some people calling it the Ukraine bribery scandal, the what's been revealed in front of the Republicans have just had a bunch of witnesses come in front of Congress and say that there seems to be at least some accuracy to the idea that Joe Biden and Hunter Biden were bribed to do various things in Ukraine, mainly to get this prosecutor fired who was looking into Burisma, the company that Hunter Biden was on the board of, because Hunter Biden is just a oil genius. That is why they put him on the board of a energy company in Ukraine. He speaks Ukrainian fluently and Russian fluently, and he's just so smart on fossil fuel. No, none of that's true. That is, he knows nothing about any of those things, and yet somehow scored a position on this oil board. But that's not. But the scandal is about the bribery. The scandal is not about Hunter Biden being on that board, which we've known about for many years now. So let me bring you, and I feel like this is one of the more kind of like, this is, even though I have a lot of issues with The Intercept, this is probably a little more towards the truth, or the truth that we should be parsing out of this situation, and the reality of it. Okay, so in front of Congress, we're told that a confidential human source came to the FBI with information, and we can't see what the confidential source told the FBI. However, the FBI ultimately agreed to show it to Congress in a secret, secure facility, and probably they couldn't take photos or anything, and they just had to memorize it, and they were allowed to see it for a minute. So we're getting like third level, like this went to someone who went to someone, and then that guy, he farted it in Morse code, and it went to another guy, and then he wrote it down on toilet paper that was then slipped under the door of someone who then swallowed that paper. So that is what we're getting on this. But still, this is the picture emerging, according to The Intercept. The confidential human source reported to the FBI, which has reportedly deemed the source to be highly credible. Pretty good. In June 2020, that the confidential source had a conversation with Ukrainian Burisma executives. So this is the oil company in Ukraine. I'm going to throw in corrupt in there for two reasons. One is because they are paying Hunter Biden $50,000 a month just to be Hunter Biden, which already stinks of corruption. If you're just paying a kid for being the kid of the vice president at the time, already not a good look. But on top of that, at that time, and probably today as well, Ukraine was rated one of the most corrupt countries in the world. Now, I don't really feel like it holds a candle to the United States in a lot of regards. But anyway, we'll get back to that. So the source had a conversation with Ukrainian Burisma executive while Biden was vice president, either in 2015 or 2016. The executive asked the confidential source for help linking Burisma up with an American energy company. And the confidential source asked why their help was needed if the company already had Hunter Biden, who sat on the company's board. The executive of Burisma said Biden was, quote, dumb. I think we all can agree with him on that. He was in the trough of addiction at the time, and that he had paid $5 million. So the Burisma executive had paid $5 million to Hunter Biden and $5 million to Joe Biden through a variety of accounts that would take years to disentangle. Basically, according to this source, a Burisma executive says he's paid $5 million to Hunter, $5 million to Joe in order to get help with linking up with an American energy company, and also getting help as to not be prosecuted by this prosecutor in Ukraine. Yet, even if everything in that document is true, so here's where The Intercept is giving an analysis that, you know, the far right and the Fox News and stuff, they don't like this analysis, because this analysis would mean maybe Joe Biden's like 8% less corrupt in this one area than they want to believe. But so here's various ways you could view this. Even if everything in the document is true, there is still, meaning the confidential source is correct, the Burisma executive is correct, everything has been reported accurately, then that has been shown to our Congress people, because we don't get to see it, that has been shown to our Congress people accurately, and then our Congress people that are reporting this then report it back correctly. If all of that has happened, The Intercept says there is still an interpretation that would stop short of implicating Joe Biden in this scheme. Hunter Biden could have been lying in order to extract more money from Burisma. Now, Hunter Biden, we know, has lied about many things across his lifetime. He is a giant liar. So is Joe Biden. They lie about different things, you know. One lies about war crimes or touching women. The other one lies about crack cocaine. They lie about different things, but they come from a family of liars. The document does not, continuing from The Intercept, the document does not and cannot answer the question of whether Hunter Biden told the company the truth, told Burisma the truth about splitting the money with his father, or whether it was a way to shake down additional money and appear more influential than he was. In that scenario, the Burisma executive, telling the confidential source, would have believed he was bribing the vice president. Yet the vice president's son, would have pocketed the money. Now, this does sound like something that Hunter Biden likely would have done. That doesn't mean it's true or false, but the Burisma executive reportedly told the confidential source that he did not pay Joe Biden directly. He'd therefore have no way of knowing if Joe Biden got the money. So you could have a scenario where Hunter Biden is saying to Burisma, hey, thanks for the money, thanks for the payoff. I gave half to my father. I'm keeping half for myself, and we're going to hook you up real nice. Real nice. But he could have been lying, because he knew that Burisma wanted, they don't really want Hunter Biden. They want Joe Biden. They want him working for them. And so he could be saying these things as a lie in order to get more money and in order to make them think they are linked to Joe Biden. Now, here's the part that I don't feel you're getting from your mainstream analysis or even The Intercept is, I mean, I think they do mention it, but I'm saying in a big way, you're not really getting this part of it, which is that in a lot of ways, this doesn't fucking matter. You know, and you've got both sides of our bullshit duopoly arguing, debating this right now, right, on the mainstream media. You got them dancing around. You got Fox News going, oh my God, this is impeachable. And you've got CNN, if they ever mention it, they probably have a little bit, saying, oh, well, this is a confidential source. We don't know what they were probably lying. So you got those two sides, which are, both bullshit in their own regards. But here's why this doesn't really matter, is because Joe Biden, this is a tiny, tiny percentage of the horror show that is Joe Biden. Joe Biden should be impeached for war crimes. He should be impeached for sending cluster bombs, a fucking war criminal act that is banned in 100 countries. He just sent it to Ukraine. But impeach him for that. Go after him for that. But they can't, because Fox News doesn't give a shit whether Ukrainian children die from cluster bombs. They don't care. But go after Joe Biden for his sexual assault allegations. Go after Joe Biden for the fact that he doubled the prison population. Go after Joe Biden for the fact that he claims he wrote the Patriot Act, which has stolen all of our rights. Go after Joe Biden for the environmental destruction that he and his fellow Democrats and Republicans have helmed and have seen this world fucking tip past the brink under his watch. Go after him for all of those things, and they're a million times worse than taking $5 million from a corrupt Ukrainian. A million times. But that's not how our system works, right? In our system, it would be a far greater crime to have been sitting there taking $5 million, looking both ways, hand under the table. Oops, sorry, did I touch a ding-dong? Aiming for the money. It'd be far worse to be doing that than to be destroying the planet. That's how our system works. And in a way, this actually helps to further everyone's belief that this is the only type of corruption there is, right? Taking a little $5 million under the table. Meanwhile, he's taken millions upon millions upon millions from big banks and credit companies, and it's all been legal. That's how our system works. It's all totally fine. So in a way, this doesn't really matter, but this is the side of it you can't get from your mainstream media. And I also want to highlight here that, and, I've covered this many times in the past. We've known this for years. It's not really a secret, but this clip doesn't get played enough. But we already know that Joe Biden publicly admitted to holding $1 billion over Ukraine's head, basically saying they would not get $1 billion of loans if they didn't fire the prosecutor that was looking into Burisma. Now, if you really wanted to be a huge Joe Biden apologist and fan, you would say, oh, well, he didn't even know that it didn't have anything to do with Hunter Biden. But you'd have to really do some mental gymnastics to think he doesn't know that his son sits on the board of this company and that prosecutor was looking into that company. You'd have to do some real mental gymnastics. But anyway, I wanted to just play the clip again of Joe Biden in public admitting that he withheld $1 billion from Ukraine in order for them, or maybe it's billions, in order for them to fire the prosecutor looking into his son's company, the company his son was on the board of. Now, I don't know that anyone said that prosecutor was looking into his son. I think the prosecutor was looking into the company at large, but still, let me show you this clip.
I remember going over convincing our team or others to convincing that we should be providing for loan guarantees. And I went over, I guess, the 12th, 13th time to Kyiv, and I was supposed to announce that there was another $1 billion loan guarantee. And I had gotten a commitment from Poroshenko and from Yatsenyuk that they would take action against the state prosecutor, and they didn't. So they said they were walking out to press conference. Said, "No," I said, "I'm not going to, or we're not going to give you the $1 billion."
Just hold on real quick. Think about it. Why would America be taking action against a Ukrainian prosecutor? Like, even just ignore for the fact that his son's on the board of the Burisma and all this shit. Why would America, the country, care whether a prosecutor, a state prosecutor, is the prosecutor in Ukraine? It's such a bizarre, like, chain of events. Why would, and America would care so much that they're withholding billions from Ukraine? Do you think it's because they just really want good prosecution? They just want justice in Ukraine. They just really want, like, does anyone believe that? Is there anyone who thinks that the U.S. under Obama and Biden and everybody at the Pentagon and the CIA and everything was like, we gotta get rid of this corrupt prosecutor? He's not prosecuting the bad guys. He hasn't gotten the bad guys. Does anyone think that? Even the biggest proxy war, loving the war in Ukraine people, fucking wearing nothing but a Ukrainian flag wrapped around their tits. Is there anyone, even that person, does that person literally go, well, the U.S. wanted them to prosecute the bad guys? I don't think so. I don't think anyone believes that. I don't know. They may not believe that Joe Biden was doing this to protect his son and to protect possible money that it could have also been going to him. I don't think they'd say that, but I just can't picture the person naive enough to think that Joe Biden right here is saying he wanted to get this prosecutor fired because the prosecutor wasn't, on the up and up. I mean, doesn't that just sound insane to believe such a thing? Anyway, let me get to the other. So he's saying he's going to withhold $1 billion.
Yatsenyuk that they would take action against the state prosecutor, and they didn't. So they said they were walking out to press conference. Said, "No," I said, "I'm not going to, or we're not going to give you the $1 billion." They said, "You have no authority. You're not the president." The president said, I said, "Call him." I said, "I'm telling you, you're not getting the $1 billion." I said, "You're not getting the $1 billion. I'm going to be leaving here." And I think it was 6 hours. I said, "I'm leaving in 6 hours. If the prosecutor's not fired, you're not getting the money." Oh, son of a bitch. Got fired. And they put in place someone who was solid.
By solid, he means someone who was not looking into Burisma, someone who was doing the U.S.'s bidding, someone who was going to do whatever the U.S. wanted. That is someone that's solid. That's what he means by solid. But so this is Joe Biden in public saying he withheld $1 billion of quote unquote aid. Yeah, whatever that's used for. But withheld $1 billion from Ukraine just so they would fire this prosecutor that was looking into Burisma that his son sat on the board of. Publicly. These are public. This is public. This is a fucking video that's, and trust me, I've seen this video from 42 different sources. It's not, don't worry that someone's faked the audio or something. So my point is just that, like, okay, whether this informant with the FBI was accurate or not accurate, whether the $5 million actually got funneled into Joe Biden's bank account or just into Hunter Biden's bank account, to me, it doesn't really matter on a bunch of different levels. There's also the fact that let's say the $10 million only went to Hunter Biden and never went. Let's even say that none of it happened. Let's say the confidential informant was full of shit throughout the whole thing. So this $10 million didn't exist. You still have absolutely provable, again, no one denies this, that Hunter Biden was on this board, this energy, quote unquote, fossil fuel board in Ukraine. Isn't that enough of a conflict of interest for Joe Biden to behave in such a way where he's trying to benefit the interests that have his son on the board? Like, isn't that enough corruption? The $5 million to me doesn't really enter into it. I get it's easier to prove. And if you could actually prove that this businessman gave $5 million to Vice President Joe Biden, then you could actually put him in prison or something like that. I get it. I get that belief. But in the grand scheme of things, what the fuck are we talking about here? This is a woefully corrupt, woefully racist, woefully war criminal, woefully sexual harasser at minimum, if not assaulter. It's doubled the prison population. I mean, just the horror show that Joe Biden is responsible. I mean, much of the student loan debt bubble that is crushing 43 million Americans is his fault. His fault. And it's just like the shit he's been responsible for. And here we are dancing up and down over whether $5 million went to him or not. To me, and who knows whether we'll ever get the proof. So there's that too. But to me, it's like, let's take this incredibly corrupt guy and argue whether he, ran over a mailbox once. But we have evidence he did run over that mailbox. Who? Oh, the guy who just bombed 1 million children. He ran over a mailbox? You fucking kidding me? Yeah. You talking about the guy that regularly bombs children and destroyed that whole country and saw their leader bayoneted in the streets? Yeah, that guy. He hit a mailbox. Well, fuck that guy. Hit a mailbox and just drives off like he's entitled to it. To me, that's what this debate is. But, can't get that take on your mainstream media. Can't even get that take on most independent media because they want to just do the two. It's funny how independent media is so important on getting outside of the two teams idea, right? That Republicans, Democrats are these two teams and you have to be entrenched in one or the other. And independent media is so important to break that cycle, to break that mental trap. And yet at the same time, a lot of them end up breaking into those teams. Either are you for or against Biden? That's it. How about looking beyond that whole shit show, theatrical stunt, bullshit, electoral crap? How about seeing beyond that? Nope, can't. Still got to just do for or against Biden. That's it. Ugh. All right. So, like I said, this was not live because of the whatever they're doing right now. Some Xfinity employee is humping my internet up on a telephone pole somewhere. I don't know how it works. I don't know how the series of tubes works. But everything should be back to normal tomorrow. And I'm adding a day this week. Wednesday, I will be talking to Cornel West. So I hope you join me then, 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific, and keep fighting. Oh, yeah. Also become a member at leecamp.locals.com. You can become a member for free. So I hope you'll do that at least, at minimum. Go become a member for free. leecamp.locals.com. You won't get all the exclusive content, but at least you'll be part of the community. leecamp.locals.com. Go do that.